for your patience. In fact, there we go, as if on cue. There is no doubting that they are not the favourites. But then again, Gaogaen, we've had one team that has been able to overcome the hurdle and one team that threatened to overcome the hurdle. So I hope it's not a downward trend. I hope that we're heading back to an exciting start. And how about that?
It's a beautiful first goal. I think you can classify it as that. Just getting everybody from the defense. I'm almost lost for words myself. It's Butter Saucer with the backwards name as well. This is an interesting strategy coming into this. But UCSB goal. First goal of the game early on, shattering expectations.
Wow. I was so... How would you even say this name? Rakuus Ratub. I'm just going to call you Ratub for short and... Oh, scrubber dub that goal onto the board. GCU will be hoping to scrub off and go again here, as down the other end they are unable to connect to this one. Complete control for the moment for the orange team. 100 boost fortuitous for Ratub, who goes straight for net again. The setup, no put away, and GCU at all three players back, so I don't quite blame UCSB Gold for going for this one.
It might be selfish. I kind of just want to settle on Butter Saucer, the actual name. It's just fully backwards. But, I mean, I just wanted to point that out. Ratub is fantastic, and I'm sure that would be a lot of fun. But Butter Saucer just wants to play the entire series backwards. And listen, GCU's defense kind of feels like they're playing a little backwards right now. So I think all is right in the world. I don't really know how that works, but somehow it just kind of does. I can't
believe it's not Butter, but we're going to be seeing blue double D double die, say UCSB Gold, die your hopes GCU, because that's a second within a minute and a half.
Reliq, again, it's 90 seconds in. They can't just go away
I'm hyped,
now.
okay?
We have a whole series to play, but like, I don't know. I'm sat here just. Everything I've witnessed in the opening 90 seconds is completely against everything that I've expected for this particular series, and I don't know whether or not to applaud like I've never even clapped my hands before for UCSB Gold, or just wonder whether or not GCU have warmed up for this, whether or not maybe they have the monitors turned on. Clearly they do. Beautiful play. Even better save as well. The contact is enough. It's still relevant for GCU, but UCSB Gold, what a way to see your way out.
Gaogaen, how long have you worked with me?
It's had to been at least 2 days, I think.
Probably at least 2 days. I see a raccoon in a masquerade mask and a team with a not great record in terms of like their opponents, who have basically swept the entire group but themselves, and I'm like, yo, they've scored 2 goals in a minute and a half. That's amazing. Now look, if you want to be logical, yeah, they got the rest of the game to play. Yeah, we've just passed half time, so there's a lot of time yet to play, but look at this team and tell me in good faith that they are not playing well and that GCU is struggling for answers at the moment.
Just know, everybody, you can come to us for the most in-depth analysis, because I too am thinking, yo, they scored 2 goals in a minute and a half. It's insane. I can't believe they've done that. Frumpy, though, has scored a goal. It's amazing what Rocket League players can do when they put the ball in the net.
Is that spiked, I hear? Have I finally gotten on your nerves, Gaogaen? Well, Froppy have finally stepped on Gold's toes, that's for sure. 1 goal back, 2:05 left, and finally a pulse for GCU. That's the first real threat that we've seen in the last minute and a half or so, and well, they put it away, which, good job. You need to see a lot more of it, of course, before we find anything close to equalizing territory.
I want to find something closer to the rest of GCU getting into this game. It feels like a good amount of off-ball movement, couple of demolitions as well to try and shore up your numbers on defense, but the defense has been the most awkward part, it feels like, for GCU, and UCSB Gold continue to know that that's where the advantage lies. Butter Saucer over the top. It's a beautiful pass, but the shot, pristine.
I'm just going to call them, I can't believe it's not Butter from now on. Give me the name that I should be saying, like, you know, Nando in brackets, Stitch and Latu Moss and all the other backwards names. Great response. from UCSB, in all seriousness. That could have been real scary to have the team that, again, we must re-emphasize, has not lost a single series. They only lost a single game in the regular season. Oh, we've got doing a bit of the time warp there. Bit of Rocky Horror for your eyes today, but within all of the timey-wimey stuff, it is still no good. Or will it? Nando, stitched finger, scored. Does that mean he's playing with an injury, by the way? Good on you.
Yeah, honestly, why didn't we get that in the injury report? I feel like we need to look into GCU here for not, pulling a Joe Burrow here and trying to hide the fact that their star quarterback had an injured wrist. But I think I'm getting too ahead of myself and too deep into the American football references. We spent the better part of the first series talking about how this totally eclipses the conference championships for collegiate American football happening this weekend. I don't know what people are doing watching those. This is where all the action is.
And people should be watching, of course, NECC. Winners, by the way, at the Esports Awards. Subtle flex. 45 minutes, and GCU got to flex a little bit more to find the equalizer. Demo on blue might open the way up. Backboard. Oh, that's a real unfortunate backflip for Nando, but he's stolen 100 boosts on the way out and another in the midfield line. UCSB goal, that's straight to Nando, but look at that upfield still. UCSB looking for interference plays, looking for disruption wherever they can. Butter Saucer, yes, I'm going to get over it, I promise. With 0 boost on the way upfield. Latumos now, we'll go, it's 1 versus 2, gets past 1, gets the bump on the second, but UCSB Gold erecting this huge wall in front of net. They ain't going to let anything through if they can help it.
Somehow, though, GCU bringing some of their strongest offense here in the final moments of the game. Froppy jumps, Froppy shoots, it's not strong enough, it's on the ground. Too little.
Now comes the rest of the series. Okay, the setup has been made, the scenario, the lay of the land has been made, but are you able to do it again and again and again, because it's 4 wins that you need, not just the 1, and GCU, as you have rightly alluded to, have plenty more in their pockets.
UCSB Gold may have won the battle, but will they win the collection of several battles over the course of a best of 7 battles, with which we take place every Friday evening here on this channel? It remains to be seen, but you back them to, because the early start, the maintained pressure, GCU really don't get their solid offense cooking until the final 30 seconds. Now it's a whole different story if you get opportunities like that, but no follow through for a second shot from GCU. They're blocked out to the midfield line, still stacked up well, rotating as a cohesive unit. They've got touches to the back wall, but UCSB Gold, they are putting on a defensive clinic here and then bringing it right back for an immediate goal.
First and foremost, Gaogaen, I love Friday nights because I get to work with you. Second of all, what a goal! And check out this intelligent play from Blue. I think whereas last game we saw a lot of moments where 2 players were clumped up and so they go for the flip, they hit the woodwork, but then that second player would be too far forward to do anything with the ricochet. Here, Blue just holds up a little bit, just waits momentarily, perfectly placed to deal with such a situation. And for the second time in 2 games, UCSB Gold have the lead.
And GCU, on the other hand, they bite their tongues with bad habits. It's tough to shake, even when you get to the Champions Division. Those transition defense plays where you're just facing the net, waiting for the rebound, but it does not come through. It's completely denied. UCSB Gold comes storming back, and they don't get much out of the corner, but they have the ball firmly in their control, and GCU can do little to try and pry it from them, although that is surely one way to do just that. Nando back into the scoring column.
Rocket League player, heal thyself. Does he need healing? I'd hate to see what Nando could do without a stitched finger, honestly, because that's his 2nd goal in 2 games. Phoenix rising from the ashes, perhaps a little bit presumptuous for those sorts of tales of grandeur, but at least this time around GCU have equalised sharp. They've equalised smartly, but they've just got behind off the kickoff again.
And it's Blue once more. Just simple touch to the side wall. Waits over as that one is received. And simple as that. It's just the rotation not expected from GCU. There's not really much else to read into that one, but again, another early situation where UCSB, they're not just hanging in this game, they are dictating the pace right now, whereas GCU, you can tell they feel most comfortable when they are the ones being the driving force, and they have not been given that affordance just yet.
Just gotta wonder if this would be the sort of series that we would have seen during league play. or whether there is something a little bit special about this very much closed off tournament setting. Well, for the moment, all looking bright and rosy for UCSB Gold. This danger, a danger dealt with by Grand. Blue goes central, goes for the clearance, not really many passing options on, and GCU doesn't know where to clear the ball. Eventually a decision is made, although it seemed a little bit forceful, no democracy on show. Blue, backboard, again keeps it locked there, and all of this time-wasting Gaogaen. I think UCSB would love another goal, ideally, but for the moment, get it as close to 0-0 on that ticker as possible.
Still, this feels like a beautiful matchup for the orange side this time around. They've got so much time for the second player in the rotation to get to the ball and make something meaningful out of it. Double commit, double the power on the clear for GCU. And they get the ball where it needs to go. Shot comes through, and it's just wide enough that it got the defense to jump wrong.
I understand what Blue was doing here. It's smart to throw it away from the challenge, but Grand, that's a real shame, trying to predict where the shot was going to go, and shows their cards a little too early. Parity reached again. GCU find another, yet to get a go-ahead, and my goodness, is Grand going to get one straight off the rip? No way! UCSB are stomping GCU into the pavement.
Hey, production, I need a favor. Can we take one of the several times I've said UCSB Gold's name and then go back to the beginning of the series where I said it was going to be a sweep? Replace GCU's name with UCSB Gold. I think I've been converted. Like, it's only taken 8 minutes of gameplay, and I am already sold on this. GCU have plenty of time to make the comeback that they tried to in game 1, but even so, I don't think UCSB Gold will go away at all.
They have great individual mechanics. We've already seen excellent comms between the trio. One must wonder how they lost 2 series in league play. Or maybe they have simply been on the grind since league play ended. That is a possibility. That is the point of NECC. Is it not, Gaogaen? Not just to be able to compete in esports alongside your studies, but to improve as a player.
I mean, let's not get it twisted. This would be a monumental sweep for UCSB Gold. It would be their first sweep all season long, and in a best of 7, no less. But my goodness, can you really sit here and tell me that they don't have the rights to do it? That heads-up play on the demo and still getting the shot through is insane.
Blue for the orange team, leaving the blue team feeling rather green. Ill in the stomachs, GCU are watching their good form evaporate before their very eyes. Even in the microcosm of this playoff, Gaogaen 3-0 against NAU Varsity. They hadn't dropped a game before the last one.
At the same time, as this play develops here for GCU, how in the world does that squeak out in the one spot where GCU doesn't have anybody to take that shot through? I do not know, but that force of nature could explain the fact that UCSB Gold are looking just as close as they ever will be to dominating this series.
Latumos drives forward, it's 2v1, but again, the interception's beautiful. Look at the covering runs here, Blue. Twice the scorer, thrice the scorer even, I should say, hat-trick hero, but puts up a save down the other end. And now, the ball marooned on the side where it shouldn't be if you're a GCU fan. Time is against them. The goals are against them. The series scoreline is against them, 2-0 to UCSB Gold. They just have no presence in the midfield whatsoever. When we do see goals, it's kind of a bolt out of nothing, Gaogaen. It's like, oh wow, they scored more than... That was a nice, sustained bit of build-up play. No wonder they scored in the end.
And it's Blue of UCSB Gold with a hat trick both in goals and saves. That sort of solo player effort on both sides of the ball is going to give you a massive leg up on the competition to begin with. But GCU beginning this third game of the series. We've certainly gotten an offensive mainstay, but we've seen this story before, and GCU haven't quite liked the ending due to their inability to score early again. It's a defensive pinch from a double commit to get a clear aside, and GCU are still relevant, but how do you make that stuff up?
It's better though. It's better because it's not just 5 seconds in the opposition third and then I guess we're done, time to go home. That was much, much better. It was much more controlled. Okay, they didn't find the breakthrough, but it's about the foundations here. And down the other end, doing enough on defense as well to ward away this threat of UCSB gold straight into the counter-attack, forcing out a save. 0-0 in the first 90 seconds. I think the GCU will take that.
Always important as well to get that first touch on the counter on target. Force the defense to spend boost early, maybe steal some away from them, set yourself up for success. Whole lot of missing in the air though, and Butter is just gonna have a simple enough time keeping to that ball, contesting for the challenge. Nando has to play it off the sidewall, stays relevant, good flip into it, but the save was still there. Blue with a nice read on the pace, Butter with a nice clear out, and UCSB Gold continue to string together these nice plays that continually give them space back out to clear, although they've got to watch themselves, overcommitting a bit too hard. Nando takes advantage of the demo from Froppy. First goal, GCU.
Patience is a virtue, but it was most pertinent here, Gaogaen. They'd done all of the hard work. They just needed to find a moment. And that moment was their fantastic demo. Nando could walk it in. Can you believe I'm saying this? For the first time this series, GCU lead, and it's gone.
Can't have anything nice at Grand Canyon University. I'm just convinced of it. It just does not exist. Like, kickoff, right off, UCSB Gold hold that advantage, and that's an advantage that I talk about far too often, where as soon as you get in your opponent's heads about kickoff, you are 60-40 for any game that you enter. I know it seems a bit wild because you get far enough removed and it's back to neutral game. It doesn't really matter that much, but you always hold that slight edge over your opponents. What if you just score a quick kickoff goal to equalize? What if you do it again to try and take the lead? We're back to neutral game once more with still over half of the time remaining. The UCSB Gold are nonetheless still confident.
So deflating. So deflating. Grand effectively just messing about. Just messing about. And then Butter Saucer, it's almost as if nobody could see Butter Saucer coming from behind Grand, and they find that one shot. There was only one place that they could put it, and it just so happened to end up on target. You've got to feel for GCU, but you've also got to praise UCSB Gold. It's inspired stuff.
Oh, but a touch here off the ceiling, and UCSB Gold, it's not clear, top of the box. Somebody has to get the shot, waterfall down potentially, but Blue gets the clear. Even in that sequence where UCSB score, you still had Nando cheating up to bump Blue, the last defender, and now you start to see the byproduct of GCU getting aggressive on the ball, not being bystanders at the midfield, and trying to pick these challenges off early. Froppy, beautiful read.
That's a rare error of judgment from Butter Saucer. Just that one touch and almost ignorant of the threat that Froppy could hold there. It's riveting stuff here. Oh, I'm here all week, folks. Infield pass, and that might be actually a third on the way. Oh, big save. UCSB Gold had two in net, and now on the break they'll look to go through Blue. Beautiful switch up in the play onto the back wall. That's set up perfectly. Oh, what an awful touch.
You've done so much. If you're Blue here to get this ball center, Froppy misses, and you come off the post as awkwardly as possible. If you're Nando, that is so bitter to end that sequence on. But again, these teams getting aggressive, picking each other off at the box. Whether they get to the goal line, the top of it, what have you. No defense is safe. You need to get a power clear away because somebody is lurking by. Big touch from Blue, however, to dissuade that opportunity. And it's just as easy on the counter. UCSB give themselves distance.
Man, it all fell apart in front of their very eyes. 3 versus the net, Gaogaen. 3 versus the net. I think Nando was perhaps the one player that was ahead of one of them, but to have 2 players uncontested, ready to poke home a pass into the center. Gosh, GCU. This is the dismantling of a giant, and UCSB are heading onto match point if the score remains the same.
And I think what makes it for me, UCSB are happy to commit a whole lot to the initial defensive save, even if it means doubling up, so that they get that clear early. GCU being down in the series, being down in the game, feel like they have to commit equally, if not more, to the offensive push. And that is true, but they've still got to do it in a calculated manner. If they just fling themselves at these shots without any rhyme or reason, UCSB Gold have an easier time defending away. They've still got a 2-goal lead here, despite everything that GCU fire at them offensively. Big save.
Every rotation has purpose. Every player has a meaning to what they do. Inspired in every single meaning that you can attribute that word to. Inspired down the other end. It could be infibered, but no in for the moment. Again, they knock on the door though. Look at this. On a whim, they're able to tighten it up on the defense. On a whim, they're able to go expansive onto the wings even. Go for those infield passing plays. The score is not going to change unless there is a late one here. The result is locked in. UCSB Gold are on match point.
And maybe a fifth for the road for the UCSB Gold squad, bouncing off the sidewall again. But my goodness, quadruple match point.
And the last man on the line is demoed. That's what GCU need more of. They need to get inside UCSB's heads, if that is even possible at this stage. They're vibing.
It's 4 games in a row. We saw the previous series, and the attempt to do it against Robert Morris University fell short at Game 6. Something in the air feels a bit different this time around. UCSB Gold have not taken their foot off of the pedal just yet. It's midfield challenges. Nando tries to get some clear air for a center pass, and it's good for a challenge, but immediately met at the top of the box in the air. UCSB Gold always getting a hand on the ball and bringing it back the other way. Smooth like butter. Not a criminal undercover to score that goal, but still, UCSB stay relevant.
There is an idea, and it is demo related. They're looking for demos on the way out every single time they rotate here, GCU. But again, on the offensive, UCSB have got a free shot at net. It's unopposed, and Butter Saucer buttering themselves up, ready to look nice and glistening and clean on the way out, because they fancy this sweep.
Feeling very confident there. Butter Saucer just staying low profile, behind the scenes, BTS if you will. Able to find that goal through. That's a very big stretch for a reference like that, but I'm going to own it the entire way through. It feels like the entirety of UCSB Gold has just been flying under the radar for this series. GCU didn't quite have them registered, and they're paying in dividends for that mistake. This team continues to just download their entire playstyle.
I think GCU ultimately just don't have any answers to what UCSB can do. It's why they've got to play to what they're good at. And sure, demos are going to take you further. Will they take him far enough? There's a miss on the ball, and Latimos is someone who we've barely talked about in this trio. They actually registered a sub 100 point game last time out, and considering that there were 2 goals on the board for the blue team, that's not good. No assists, barely getting involved, hardly any touches, but there is a lack of them on the backboard. Blue strolls in, unopposed.
The writing is as clear on the wall as that ball stayed stuck to it. No resistance from GCU on a solo opportunity from the corner. The mental feels shattered at this point, and I worry for Grand Canyon University. They've clearly got the facilities to be able to pull this off, but they have to prove it not only to us and everybody watching, but to themselves first and foremost. Shots are ringing through to that top corner, but still, despite everything, UCSB Gold still get the saves they need. It is a miracle at times, but a miracle that has kept this UCSB Gold team in the eyes of a sweep.
It's astonishing. It's astonishing. And half the game to go. I don't know whether GCU want it to end in the next 2.5 minutes. Because it's not working. Whatever they're doing, whatever they've said to each other, it's not working. It's still, in my mind, a fragile lead. You know, this is something that GCU can work with, and once you got one win, the sky's the limit. But look at this. It's another 2v1. Buttersauce just waiting for the call.
It's just freestyling at this point. Like, one gone, another on the goal line, misses, third is in the midfield. There's nothing. There is not a single point to latch onto for GCU at this point in time in this series. I don't mean to sound so detrimental against them, but this is a shell-shocking series that they're playing right now, to the point where UCSB Gold, it almost feels like they could have done this against any given opponent, and yet the fact that it's here against GCU, it's a perfect matchup for them that is booking their ticket to the grand finals in an emphatic way.
I don't think the criticism is unfounded, nor is it something that feels brutal to say, Gaogaen. I think it's spot on the money. I was saying, like, UCSB Gold, it feels like this is a team that is kept on the grind, you know, in these sort of days in between game day. They are still practicing. They are still striving to get better. GCU, it feels like they just stopped. It feels like they had a complete handle on every opponent they were going up against. Why would they lose against UCSB Gold? Why would they lose against UCSB Gold? Well, we're seeing it laid out in front of them right now. It's damning. It is ridiculous, even, to a certain extent, but with 60 seconds left, less than Gaogaen, they've got to find 3, no, almost 4.
There is some insane force keeping the ball clear of this orange net for the given time, and for the entirety of Game 4 up until this stage, GCU scoreless. Echoes ringing through the field here, but none that Grand Canyon want to hear. 30 seconds now. You can hear it clear as day. The bells start to ring once more, but for UCSB Gold, they'll get their flowers. They will get their grand finals appearance, and they will have all the power in the world to win this conference here in Champions West. It's 1, though, for GCU, and 10 seconds to perform a miracle.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 1, 2. 2 assists that Thomas has had up until this point. That's his first goal. Can they find another straight off the rip? Very, very unlikely. In fact, it looks like it's going to go the other way. Smushed up against the backboard. As is the reputation, I feel, of GCU. It is one of the biggest upsets that we have ever witnessed here at NECC Rocket League competition level. An upset in the truest sense, an upset of the form book.